just a few things going on with TPCH.
So
One
today's
is that,
on March 11th, we'll be back. You're welcome.
thank you. Is that TPCH is launching a rapid rehousing training institute with a national alliance to end homelessness next month. People will be getting invitations sent for those of you that for those agencies that have rapid rehousing. Also related to the National Alliance to End Homelessness conference next month, staff from the COC lead and the HMIS lead have been asked to present, which is pretty amazing. They're going to present on recent updates to coordinated entry as an example for other communities struggling to reprioritize toward vulnerability and account for racial equity. So it's pretty amazing that our continuum has this opportunity to highlight what we're doing in our community. Also, this is a friendly reminder and a pitch for the Domestic Violence 101 training that TPCH is holding along with Emerge, Center Against Domestic Violence, on March 3rd. The registration link is posted, and it's posted on the TPCH website by the start of this meeting. So please do check that out. Also, TPCH, we have several opportunities for people with recent lived experience of homelessness to participate in committees and also the board. You can email, and I'll stick it in the chat in a second. You can email tpch@tucsonaz.gov if you know of people at your organizations that would really want to participate. Really, really important that we have representation from folks with lived experience. So please, if you have individuals you can think of, refer them our way. Also, more kind of bigger than TPCH, but a really important update is that HUD released a memo earlier today announcing that the interpretation of fair housing protections is now expanded to include sexual orientation and gender identity, which is amazing. So I think that a lot of people were really concerned about that. So big news. Tried to crank through those fast. Anybody have any questions?
I have one, Daniela. The people with lived experiences on committees, those would be compensated positions, correct?
Jason, I'm not sure the answer to that question.
So they are compensated at a rate of $15 per hour, assuming that the person is not employed by an organizational member of the continuum of care.
Thank you. Thank you, Jason. Thank you, Anna, for that question. Great. I think that takes us to committee updates. We'll just start with Emma with coordinated entry.
Hi, yes. So coordinated entry has been very busy. We have kind of started in the pandemic. When the pandemic started, we had to sort of put pause on what we were doing, which was working through our coordinated entry evaluation and kind of work on how we are going to make coordinated entry system work during a pandemic when people are working remotely, when people are in crisis more than normal, and just sort of how we do that. So in the last quarter, coordinated entry has gone through all of our old pilot programs and decided whether or not they were things we wanted to keep, or if they were things that needed to just kind of be moved away, we needed to end those pilots. So we did that. We went through and updated our policies and procedures to reflect the policies that we're keeping. We've changed priorities. We have worked on some screening tools and triage tools that we're discontinuing what was used before and updating it with things that are a little bit more applicable to where we are in the community now with our response to COVID and equity. And those went into place February 1st. So people who are using that system are already using those new tools. Trying to think, I'm sure I am missing lots of things. We've updated our written standards to reflect some of those changes that we've made in the policies and procedures, and also to make sure that our prioritization of individuals and families is just like the same across written standards and coordinated entry policies and procedures. We have, let's see, we have worked on some expedited housing strategy and interim coordinated entry policy pertaining to our pandemic response. Our current activities right now, we are working on, we have been entered into sort of a collaborative to work through case conferencing for a chronic homeless population. And that is very exciting. That's with the Built for Zero Community Solutions TA. And we have been with them for many years and have worked really closely on our veterans homeless list. And so we've made amazing progress on our chronic homeless vet list. And so we're very excited to kind of zero in on our case conferencing for chronic homelessness. Our next meeting is February 25th at 1 p.m. and Jason is telling me to hurry up. So that is all I have.
Thank you, Emma. We'll keep on going and jot down any questions you might have just for timing to see if we have time at the end of reports. We'll go ahead and open it up to questions. Art, can you give us an update on the program grant committee?
Yes, this is Art Gage, him, he pronouns. For the last quarter, we've reviewed the current performance standards, HUD performance expectations, and the national performance averages. We went through the fourth quarter COC program monitoring spreadsheet and discussed the various underperforming areas of bed utilization, increased income, and positive exits. We've made the following recommendations. We want to raise the standard for increased income for leavers of all project types to 50%, remove the standard from the policy related to households with incomes, which is different than the leavers with increased income. The non-cash benefit standards recommended to be removed. Exit to permanent housing standard could be moved to 90% in line, which is in line with the HUD standard. The return to homeless standard is going to be set at, we recommend it to be set at 20%, and length of time from referral acceptance to move-in standard set to 30 days. Cost per success of exit is going to be monitored to set a standard. We also reviewed the COC program monitoring report, and we decided to recommend changes to the current standards, current performance averages, and national benchmarks. And one of the provisions there is to remove the housing first approach, because it's a compliance expectation that cannot be measured by objectively through the COC monitoring. So we just agreed to recommend to remove it as far as a measure. The HUD standard of 100% for persons served referred by coordinated entry, that's the HUD standard, and the TPCH standard was at 90%. We recommended to raise it to what HUD has indicated, which is the 100%. And this would include safe haven. For bed or unit utilization for the different forms of housing, TH to rapid rehousing and permanent housing. HUD wants a maximum utilization, and the TPCH standard currently is at 90%. We recommended it to 95%. And once again, this also includes the safe haven. Our current activity, our next meeting is February 18th at 9 a.m. You can probably get into our meeting through the TPCH website if you want to sit in. Our current agenda, we're going to discuss this. We're going to have a meeting with safe haven that's going to be there. We're going to learn more and how they fit with the coordinated entry and bridge housing. And we're also going to discuss the program implication of the recently revised strategic plan. And that's it.
Thank you, Art. Jason put in the chat if you're looking to join sit in on a committee. Next up, diversity, equity, and inclusion. Anna?
Hi, everyone. I'm bringing up my notes so I don't forget anything. DEI.
And they were being really careful. I mean, if you read the documentation, it only.
Mute yourself. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. DEI is diversity, equity, and inclusion. The committee is doing well. One of my favorite things that we've started doing is every time we meet, we have a check-in and a checkout about how committee members are feeling about issues related to the work that we do with diversity, equity, and inclusion. With so much going on in our continuum and our community and in our nation around race and equity issues, we think it's really important that we have time to process some of the information coming into us. Let's see. We've created a data work group within a diversity, equity, and inclusion, and also a policy subcommittee. The data work group has met several times to look at existing data and look for areas of inequity, and which some of those have been discussed with the continuum at other general council meetings by the collaborative applicant, but also to look at where are the holes in the data and where we want more examination. And so TPCH will be subcontracting with Southern Arizona Institute for Research on Women to do some of that data analysis. And as y'all might remember, before the last General Council, C4 Innovations had finished a training series for the continuum on race and equity issues. Since then, C4 Innovations hosted a one-time training leading with equity for agency executives that happened in December. And they also provided our group a list of policy recommendations. So the policy subcommittee has been really hard at work teasing through, it's a 15-page document and looking for areas where we want to make change, where it's possible to make change, and ones that might not make as much sense for our continuum. The other part of contract with C4 Innovations was technical assistance to the committee and the collaborative applicant. So that happened, I think it was in December, maybe January, and it's really created a good framework for the committee to go forward. So it's going to be really helpful when we do strategic planning next month. And the other part of it is that C4 Innovations will be leading learning collaboratives with 4 agencies. So applications were received by the collaborative applicant earlier this month, and 4 agencies have been chosen to have this more in-depth training and one-on-one sessions with C4 Innovations around diversity, equity, and inclusion. I think that's all. We meet once a month on the second Monday of the month, so we'll be meeting March 8th next time.
Thank you so much, Anna. Phil with HMIS.
Hi, everyone. My name is Phil Pierce, and I am the chair of the Homeless Management Information Systems Committee. The HMIS Committee provides expertise, oversight, and guidance to the COC board related to all things TPCH Homeless Management Information System. So we've been pretty busy. Probably one of our main focuses is working on the HMIS Committee annual work plan or annual action plan. Some of the things that we've covered over the course of the last quarter included our continuum of care's choice to forego the 2021 unsheltered point in time count. Most of you are probably aware that we did not actually hold that count this year, but we did hold, we still are responsible for and completing the sheltered point in time count, which counts folks that are in projects dedicated to serving people who are homeless in emergency shelter, safe haven, and transitional housing. Along with that, we look at folks that are in projects that are dedicated to folks. We look at the inventory, bed inventory, and project utilization, which we know as the housing inventory count itself, and all of agencies in the continuum with those projects serving folks who are in projects dedicated to homeless provide their grant inventory to the HMIS lead. And so the HMIS lead is currently working on processing all of that data. We also approved at this month's committee meeting to release the 2020-2021 HMIS Satisfaction Survey. The survey will be released to agencies that participate in HMIS, and don't hold me bad if I'm wrong on this, but I think folks that may not be, I think it is dedicated to folks who participate in HMIS, but I could be wrong. I'm a little nervous, I guess, right now. So at any rate, we've agreed to release that survey on April 5th, and so we'll follow protocol, and we'll continue to monitor that. And we hope to have results released from that survey sometime in September, by September of 2021. The survey actually takes a look at the system, at the homeless management information systems on the whole, not just our contracted provider, Pima County, but also how the system works itself and how folks are able to access the system and all components of the homeless management information system. The county just released this month, yesterday actually, just released the first draft of the system performance measure report, which are 6 different reports. They're HUD reports that look at different things like length of time in homelessness, the amount of time from homeless to housed, the amount of folks who are in permanent housing and return to homelessness. So those reports are vital to look at system performance for projects participating in HMIS and our continuum of care. Our timeline upcoming, we're in the process of reviewing our HMIS policies and procedures. We need to review our privacy plan. We need to ensure that our role definitions are up to date. Those things should occur by the end of March, April at the latest. We're also looking at the policies and procedures in its entirety, and we're in the process of developing a checklist for policy updates. We're also really concerned as committee members of looking at data quality improvement efforts. And so we're in the process of developing quality improvement strategies and accountability in HMIS policies and procedures. And we're looking to move towards real-time data to define what real-time data is to our community and to review current policy for data entry. We also are focusing on reviewing the point in time, the housing inventory count, the annual performance reports, and the system performance measure reports as required by HUD, which are produced by the HMIS lead. Data literacy, we definitely are concerned with data literacy in our community. In other words, how literate are our HMIS users on the front end? As we know that the data that's been being put into the system is what's driving all the reports that we're releasing. And so we're in the process of creating an end user HMIS data dictionary desk guide. We want to look and review data definitions and policy and procedure. We'd like to create a table of contents for this dictionary, and this is all going to be driven by a work group that we're in the process of developing. Hopefully I didn't miss anything. Thanks. It's good seeing all of you, and welcome to those of you that are new to General Counsel.
Thank you so much. Next up, we have system performance evaluation. Christy.
Hi, everyone. Let me pull up my notes. So the discussions regarding our roles and responsibilities within the charter from this quarter have included compiling and reviewing data to improve the performance of the entire COC, analyzing and sharing system performance data with the COC board and membership, prioritizing the use of ESG funds, and gap analysis discussions included things like utilizing HUD's tool to aid in the gaps analysis process, our committee reviewing the tool early March and a needs assessment and systems inventory being completed in May. Monitoring COC lead and HMIS lead. We'll use the existing tool for the HMIS lead, and that the board is leading the development of a COC tool that we can use as well. With system performance being so new, we recognize that everything done within the system will affect it. Of course, we take into account the actions of the COC funded programs, the non-COC programs, the current status of the job market and the global pandemic, of course. We know that no single committee, no matter how awesome they are, can fix all of these things. So there is a decent level of overlap in what we're monitoring and what others are doing. We have already seen suggestions being made by the COC Grant Committee and the HMIS Committee as items that will likely improve these system performance measures. We are seeking to find a place of collaboration with other committees. And of course, we're looking for ways to keep an eye on how each group's actions could be impacting the system. We've identified 4 areas of concern or areas of focus: the permanent housing exits, decreasing returns to homelessness, increasing household income, and decreasing the length of time of homelessness. These system performance markers felt like the strongest indicator of, and of course, the foundation for improving the system performance. We reviewed a tableau, that allows us to compare our performance with other COCs. This tool can be helpful in allowing us to see the performance compared to our counterparts, and of course, help us identify anything that could be specific to our region or our actions. Our next meeting date is going to be on March 9th at 3 p.m., where we will review the strategic plan and discuss our committee's role in helping TPCH achieve these goals.
Thank you, Christy.
You're welcome.
Youth Action Committee, Victoria.
Hi, this is Mercedes Marquez. I actually am a part of the Youth Action Committee too. My preferred pronouns are they, them. And lately we have been having regular attendance and have had 3 opportunities to do TPR mental health training.
Mercedes.
That's okay.
Sorry, it's just your audio is coming in kind of glitchy. It's hard to understand.
About that, guys. All right, can you hear me all right?
That's much better. Thank you.
Thanks for letting me know. So lately we have had 3 opportunities to do QBR, youth, mental health, first aid trainings. We've had pretty regular attendance, and we've also done trainings to do with the spectrum and awareness of resources and youth engagement. We've also had, been going strong in ongoing conversations about YHDP related goals, and we meet on the 2nd and 3rd Thursday of the month. And also I heard someone talk about the racial equity training, and I just want to say that that was amazing, and I would definitely do it again. That was my first time ever a part of a training like that. So yeah, thank you guys for taking a moment to hear me out. And Victoria, if you have anything to add, please feel free. I'd appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. So I do have a couple other things to add. So like Andy said, we have been going over YHDP, like CCP, goals and timelines and how that deals with the YAC. And so far, in the month of March, we're planning on doing more onboarding for more positions in the Youth Action Committee, more specifically with youth that are participating in the youth action committees of different YHDP funded projects from the summer. So I'm super excited about that. And again, earlier, I forgot who it was, but they gave us they gave out a little plug like, hey, if you have any youth that would like to join a committee, just go on the TPCH website. There's a questionnaire, I believe, and one of the options for choosing a committee for a youth to join is the Youth Action Committee. If you have any youth that would also love to attend. We have also met with HEMA Health, Amanda Monroy. She talked to us about like different COVID related resources, the different phases of vaccines, and also the ethics board. And hopefully soon we'll have more homeless youth able to join that board and be able to speak on there as well. And then sorry, that was my cat. We just recently started doing a Wi-Fi stipend for members. So that would be also a benefit for any new oncoming members to our committee, as well as different last thing I want to add is different opportunities for compensation besides going to YAC, Homeless Youth Coalition, and general council meetings. We also provide compensation for going to different trainings like QPR, mental health aid, and different change team and committee meetings like education change team. So yeah.
Thank you so much, Mercedes. I think we just maybe have time for one question, if anybody has a question for any of the committee members.